learning how to write a thesis. So before we do that, we need to know what a thesis is. So can anybody tell me what a thesis is? Yeah, Leah?
What the paper is about with thesis.
What the paper is about is a thesis. Okay, so that's a really good definition. It's pretty much what I was going to say. So thesis is the argument of your paper, and it's going to answer whatever the prompt is asking. It's going to have your position on the prompt if the prompt asks you to take a position, and it's basically telling your reader what the paper is about. So thank you for that definition. So what you need to know about the thesis is that it is usually towards the beginning of your paper. It is most commonly found at the end of your introduction paragraph. It doesn't always have to be at the end. Usually it is. So just keep that in mind as you're writing your paper. And it should be as specific as possible. You want your thesis to be clear and concise. And you want to make sure that you're answering all parts of the prompt again. But don't have the thesis so lengthy or so wordy that your reader gets lost in it. Do you have any questions so far?
Yeah.
No?
No.
No? Okay, cool. So how do you write one? First, you're going to read the prompt, and then you're going to break it down. So you're going to identify what the prompt is asking you to do, or what the prompt is asking, and then what it's asking you to do. And we'll demonstrate that. And then you're going to create a do-what chart. So when you break it down, you're going to start to put that stuff into a chart so that you make sure you're hitting, again, all parts of the prompt. And while you're doing this chart, you could really start to brainstorm what you want to write for your paper. So now we're going to practice. So can somebody volunteer to read that for me?
Explain how progressive education served as great equalizer in American life. Please clearly define what you mean by progressive education and address the extent to which progressive education overcame or did not overcome barriers of at least two of the following categories: race, class, language, gender, and national origin.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the first thing that this prompt is asking us to do?
Explain.
Explain. Okay, and what is it asking us to explain?
How progressive education served as great equalizer in American life.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to create our do-what chart for this. And basically what it's asking us to do is explain. And what it's asking us to explain is how progressive education served as a great equalizer in American life. So we're going to write all that in. And it's going to look something like this. And then if we continue to break down the prompt, we're going to highlight what it's asking us to do and then what we have to do. And then when we fill in that chart, it'll look something like this. And if you number it, you could really write your thesis and make sure to number it. And then you'll make sure that you're answering all parts of the prompt. So our thesis would be something like, though progressive education played a vital role in education becoming more accessible to the masses, making it a great equalizer for some, education was still largely inaccessible for people of color and women. So here we see that we hit the 1, the 2, and the 3. And that's pretty much how you write a thesis. Does everybody get that?
Yeah.
Are there any questions? No? Okay, cool. So now we have a little chant to help us remember. So whenever we're ready, we can start. Write a thesis, do-do-do-do. Write a thesis, do-do-do-do. Write a thesis, do-do-do-do. Write a thesis. Read the prompt, do-do-do-do. Read the prompt, do-do-do-do. Read the prompt, do-do-do-do. Read the prompt. Break it down, do-do-do-do. Break it down, do-do-do-do. Break it down, do-do-do-do. Break it down. Do what chart, do-do-do-do. Do what chart, do-do-do-do. Do what chart, do-do-do-do. Do what chart. Write that essay, do-do-do-do. Write that essay, do-do-do-do. Write that essay, do-do-do-do. Write that essay. Okay, cool. So now I hope you remember how to write a thesis, and thank you.